Hello, everyone. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I'm Sign1News anchor, Gatry Killings. Here's a quick look at the top trending stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Here's what's happening today. Shockwaves are still reverberating through the nation tonight. For the first time in history, a person who has held the office of President of the United States faces criminal charges. Here's a breakdown of what it all means. There has been a long-running investigation into whether $130,000 in hush money was paid to former adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential election. Investigators believe Trump gave his former attorney orders to pay the money to keep Daniels quiet about their alleged affair. Trump has denied the affair. For the record, hush money payments are not illegal, but falsifying business records is illegal in New York. New York prosecutors believe Trump's former attorney gave the money to Daniels. Then Trump falsified the business records of the Trump organization that would have showed him paying his attorney the money back. The company recorded the payment as a legal expense. Trump has denied knowledge of the payment. An indictment does not mean Trump is guilty. The case still has to go through the courts, which means he can still run for the 2024 presidency. But if Trump is found guilty of falsifying business records in the first degree, he could face up to 1 to 4 years in prison. Sources close to Trump say his first reaction to the news was surprise. Sources say he was caught off guard by the grand jury's decision to indict him. Then he quickly went into defiant mode. He released a statement saying, "The indictment is political persecution and election interference at the highest level in history. Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession to try to get Trump." He was asked to surrender today in New York, but his defense lawyer said they needed more time, so he's expected in court next Tuesday. He's expected to plead not guilty. The attorney for Creed 3 actor Jonathan Majors says the woman he allegedly assaulted sent him text messages hours after he was arrested. Majors is facing assault and harassment charges after a domestic dispute in New York. He denies the allegations. Majors' attorney says he called 911 out of concern for the woman's mental health. Police and paramedics arrived and arrested Majors. The attorney says the woman later texted Majors, writing, quote, "They assured me that you won't get charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me, and they knew we had a fight." She also purportedly wrote, "I am so sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone." CNN is unable to verify whether the text messages came from the woman in the complaint. The investigation into the assault is still ongoing. Another gloomy Social Security report has been released. It was released today by the Social Security trustees. The report says Americans' checks will get smaller in 2034 if Congress does not step in and fix the problem. It says the combined Social Security trust funds, which help support payouts for the elderly, survivors, and disabled, will run out that year. That means a program's continuing income will only cover 80% of benefits owed. About 66 million Americans received Social Security benefits last year. The report on Medicare is more gloomy. It says Medicare Part A, the Hospital Insurance Trust Fund, will only be able to pay scheduled benefits in full until 2031. After that, it will only cover 89% of total scheduled benefits. About 65 million senior citizens and people with disabilities used Medicare in 2022. The problems Social Security and Medicare are facing are due to the aging of the American population, the growing number of beneficiaries living longer, and an increasingly expensive healthcare system and fewer workers paying into the program. According to an update from the Storm Prediction Center, potentially violent tornadoes could pass through parts of the South and Midwest later tonight. The center says the threat is at a level 5, a high risk. It says swaths of intense damaging wind gusts along with very large hail are expected as well. More than 10 million people living in eastern Iowa, northern Mississippi, parts of Tennessee, and Arkansas are expected to be affected by those storms. Overall, nearly 90 million people are currently under the threat for severe storms. Just last week, at least 26 people were killed and dozens injured after powerful storms and at least one tornado pummeled the southeast. The Centers for Disease Control has issued a salmonella outbreak warning linked to flour. Investigators are working to identify which brands are included. As of now, a dozen people have become sick across 11 states. 3 of them had to be hospitalized. The CDC warns that any unbaked flour can have germs in it, like salmonella. It says you should not eat raw dough or batter, and that even a small amount can make you sick. The agency says to be sure to cook your foods thoroughly. It's even warning against homemade Play-Doh using raw flour. The CDC says to use the heat-treated flour instead. Signs of salmonella illness include high fever, diarrhea, vomiting, and dehydration. This is my favorite. Vogue Philippines has unveiled its latest cover star, and incredibly, she's 106 years old. Po Wang Odi is a tattoo artist from a mountain village in the Philippines, also known as Maria Age. She's been perfecting the art of hand-dipping tattoos since she was a teenager, after being taught by her father. She's considered the Philippines' oldest mambabatok, or traditional Kalinga tattooist. International visitors now make up most of her clientele. Wang Odi says she's training her grandnieces to keep the tradition alive. Wang Odi is the oldest person ever to appear on a Vogue cover. Sign1News will be broadcasting updates Monday through Friday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku. Have a great day and be safe for some of you who may be living in those states with tornado warnings.